with the funded VC funded startup, you're a number and they're just putting you through that system as quickly as possible because they got to hit those milestones to raise that next round of funding. Right. And I don't want to say that they can't be a great company. They is like, I'm not talking about anyone specific. It's just that there are companies out there that have raised funding. I'm not saying that they can't be great companies because they can. It's just that the incentive structure when you raise that kind of funding is so warped, especially when it's early on. Now, if the product was great, if a software company has the perfect product and they just want to raise money for marketing, it's not that big a deal. It's not going to change that much. But when it's early on in the business, before the product is really completed and they're raising that kind of money, that's a huge red flag. And it's really dangerous for the company. And it's a really dangerous thing for the customers that are trusting that company. Sorry, I just went on a long rant there.
No, it's true. So when, from my perspective, I think about a couple of different things. I've had a lot of conversations this week about private equity and roofing companies and like taking over. And like, just to give you an example, Perimeter Roofing is bought 3 other different companies. And one of the sales reps from one of the companies has been texting me and asking about my opinion on it and what I've seen in the industry. And it ties to exactly what you're talking about with software companies or just vendors for roofing space like Proline. And what that means. You need to think of this as what is the intent of the company now. So exactly what you're saying is true. Our focus at Proline is our customer. Our customer is our focus. There is no other focus. We want to grow. We want that to grow into a large company. That is our focus as well. But we can't do that because we have no extra money just lying around for marketing. We have to make sure that every one of our customers has an excellent experience and they have a great return on investment.
And it's all about the product. That's the actual thing that people get. It's like, ironically, the well-funded startup has all this money that they could spend on product, but they don't because the incentive structure is not. Whereas with the Bootstrap company like Proline, our whole thing is the product. That's it. The only thing that we're selling on, that we can sell on, that we can compete with, other well-funded companies, is the product. So we're in a position where our only choice is to build the product to be as good as possible. And I mean, one big thing is like with funded startups, usually the founders are money people, they're business people. Whereas with us, it's like you're a roofer, like you know the space intimately, and I'm a developer. I'm building like 80 to 90% of what makes up Proline was built by me personally. And that's completely different than these companies where they're raising a bunch of money. Their founders are not building the tech. They're outsourcing it to some agency, maybe even an agency over in India that has no understanding of roofing, no passion, no desire to help roofers. And that does show through in the product. If nothing else, just the speed at which the product gets built. But ultimately, it's just like when the person that's building it, with the people that building it don't know or understand the roofing business, it shows through in the product. You can't get around that.
Yep. And again, going back to intent. If there's a problem or a benefit to what Proline does to my roofing business, you get instant feedback and are able to adjust the product in the correct way. You either fix a problem or you make a feature that's very beneficial for me. It's invaluable. Nobody else in our space has that direct connection to, I get on roofs and sell roofs, and I talk to customers and I talk to roofing crews all the time, and our team works together and we have problems and we want solutions. That's a really, really important thing, not to toot our own horn, but no one else has that. And you're never going to have that unless somebody else essentially copied our process for creating Proline. Going back to intent one more time, we don't have anyone who's telling us you have to sell X number of companies this month, or we're going to, there's going to be consequences, or this year or this quarter. We don't have any of that. Our focus and our intent is that every single contractor that reaches out to us has a positive experience and is a good fit for us. Like we're not going to work with somebody who's not a good fit. If you're not a good fit, you're not a good fit. But other companies that have numbers that they have to hit are just going to push that product forward.
Tell you whatever they have to tell you to get you in.
Yep. And you're going to migrate all that stuff over. It's going to be a headache to do, and no one's going to have a good process. And then you're going to be upset because your roofing business, the thing that provides your living for yourself, is in peril now because a really well marketed company pushed their product on you. It's really, really important. I mean, in any type of investment situation, I know a lot of people have talked about this specifically about roofing companies, but it's the same process. We can kind of tangent off of that. Like, the owners of these companies are going to benefit if everything goes well, perfectly, and there's no big problems for these ones that are getting rolled up in these big private equity deals. It's a similar situation. The owners will win, and the co-founders of these software companies will win, but everybody else will lose. It's just a matter of time. Statistically, look at Shark Tank, all the investments there, by far the majority of them fail horribly, miserably. It's not about like who has the most money and who gets the best investments. It's about product fit and intent behind that company and the founders of that company.
It's so crazy, the numbers. Like I've done so much research on this because we've tried to raise funding before we kind of understood it. And the failure rate of funded startups is way higher than bootstrap startups, like way higher, specifically because the investors put those incentive structures in place where they're trying to grow way faster than they should be. It's not sustainable. Now, and just to be clear, like, we have some friends and family investors, and we may take on some like angel investors and stuff of that nature. That's a completely different type of thing. It's like small private investors where it's not really changing the incentive structure, especially people that may be related to the industry and want to see, better software for roofers and stuff like that. But these big deals, VC backed deals, like I said, it's not necessarily going to make them a bad company, but it's going to be very hard for them not to become a company that screws over their customers.
Yep. So if you're a contractor listening to this, what's in it for you? Like, why does this matter to you? You need to choose a company. If you're going to, especially CRM, it's the platform for your business. It's the whole thing. You got to do a bunch of work on the front end to make sure it's all set up for your company. It matters because we're trying to kind of expose what the reality of the situation is that there's a lot of platforms that have been out for years and years and years, and they have failed, and no one really talks about it that much. But if you choose a company that is bootstrapped, we have all the incentive to stay solvent. We don't have a big bill to pay every month. We don't have those crazy stressors in our life that makes us want to quit. We are very happy with where we're at. We love helping contractors, and we love the product that we've developed, and we'll continue to develop. We're going to continue to listen to the roofing industry. We're going to add those features, add those things that people need for their business. And you're going to get instant feedback, especially in this early phase when we are just a few years old. It's just going to get better and better and better. And the people that use us right now, we really listen to them. We really do change the product for their benefit.
Speaking of, so I just did that pro school for our invoice templates, and Brian Huff had some great feedback.